The wind, dry and choked with dust, rustled through the skeletal remains of the outskirts of Johannesburg, carrying the mournful whispers of a civilization extinguished. Months had etched themselves onto Ayanda Zandi's skin, each line a harsh testament to her solitary struggle. Ever since the plague, silent and swift as a desert viper, had swept across the land, claiming her family and village, she had been a lone voyager in a sea of silence. Today, under the pitiless gaze of a sun seemingly hell-bent on baking the world to dust, she scavenged the outskirts of the city, once a bustling metropolis, now a monument to humanity's fall. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay, a grim reminder of the price paid. But in the distance, faint glimmers danced like distant stars, offering a beacon of hope. Johannesburg, a ghost city humming with an unknown energy. Each night was a gamble, a test of her resilience. House after house, she ransacked for the dregs of sustenance, the gnawing loneliness a constant companion. Yet, as she neared the city, she encountered pockets of civilization. The hum of forgotten solar panels, the mournful whine of a dying air conditioner. But the silence of communication remained unbroken. An oppressive void where human voices once filled the air. Ayanda cursed her lack of technical knowledge. Her brother, lost to the same fate as their family, would have coaxed whispers of information from the abandoned electronics she encountered. Now, only the memories of their laughter, a fragile flame against the encroaching darkness, fueled her heart. Each morning dawned with the same ritual. A meager breakfast of scavenged protein bars and filtered rainwater, meticulous packing of her meager belongings, and the relentless trudge onwards, driven by the desperate hope of finding another survivor. Today, under the unforgiving gaze of the midday sun, she reached the skeletal husk of the city's football stadium. As she ascended the cracked concrete steps, the panorama of Johannesburg unfolded before her, a tapestry of abandoned dreams and shattered lives. The remaining hour melted away as she scoured a nearby house for sustenance. Leaving empty-handed, a fleeting twitch in the periphery snagged her attention. On the distant horizon, shapes darted, their silhouettes a macabre ballet against the desolate backdrop. A long-buried ember of hope flickered within her. Was she truly alone, or were her eyes conjuring phantoms in the vast emptiness? Suddenly, a cacophony of alarms ripped through the city, shattering the fragile silence. Adrenaline surged through Ayanda as she raced towards a house with visible power, desperation fueling her movements. The television flickered to life, displaying a stark message: "Stand by." Her heart hammered against her ribs, a mix of anticipation and trepidation gripping her. The silence held a new weight, pregnant with meaning and the promise of something else. She ran to the nearest screen, and as she waited, bathed in the flickering light of the dying screen, Ayanda knew the world she knew was gone. But in the silence, in the shadows, a new game had begun. And she, a pawn on the board, waited for the unseen hand to make its next move. But Ayanda wasn't one to wait passively. Despite the fear gnawing at her insides, curiosity flickered brighter. Who was behind the message? What did they want? Was this a trap, or a lifeline? Driven by a newfound resolve, she explored the house, searching for anything that might shed light on the cryptic message. The isolation started to weigh heavily on her. She craved human connection, the warmth of another voice. Ayanda remained glued to the flickering screen, its blue light casting an eerie glow on her face. Each passing hour stretched into an eternity. The silence broken only by the hum of the ancient television and the pounding of her own heart. Sleep was a distant dream, replaced by a relentless vigil as she awaited any change, any signal from the unknown entity controlling the screen. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, A flicker of movement on the screen jolted her from her near trance. An alien voice, deep and resonant, boomed from the speakers, shattering the tense silence. Its words washed over her, confirming the horrifying reality she had desperately clung to hope against: billions lost, humanity teetering on the edge of extinction. Yet, amidst the devastation, a sliver of hope emerged. The voice spoke of scattered survivors, millions clinging to life across the globe, united only by a twist of fate. As the audio concluded, a video feed flickered to life, revealing a wizened man with a long white beard framing a weathered face, his eyes rimmed with kohl. He spoke in flowing English with an Arabic accent, his voice surprisingly calm and reassuring, despite the weight of his message. "Greetings, survivors," he began, his tone ancient and strangely familiar. "Seek the nearest emergency shelter. A radio to listen. Instructions for evacuation soon. Remain calm, respect one another. Violence unnecessary. All needs met at shelters." The screen winked black, leaving Ayanda bathed in the aftermath of the man's cryptic message. The silence, once again, pressed down on her, but this time it was different. Now she had a purpose, a direction. With a resolute glint in her eyes, she knew what she had to do. Find the shelter, find the radio, and join the scattered threads of humanity clinging to survival in this new, uncertain world.